Now let's look at an example if you were to build something from scratch. All right, new file. This is basically empty. All I have here is the language, a few meta tags, title, and that is it. And it's a totally empty page, nothing in there. So let's build this from scratch. All right, so I've got this wireframe with just a really basic layout for a page. So we've got a header, page title, a set of form fields. So this is some sort of sign up form, and then a basic footer. So that's the idea of the page I'm trying to create. And for this one, let's bring this over a little more so you can see it side by side. Yeah, there we go. For this one, I'm going to create it all within Orchard. All right, so I guess first thing we can do is I'll just go ahead and grab all this same style code. Add that to my head. All right, and I'll save that. Won't make any difference to the page right now because it's because there's no content in it yet. All right, back to my wireframe. So we're going to build this all within the design system. We'll start with the layouts here. So this is how we can get the overall page. It's when you're creating a full page within the system, you kind of have to go back and forth between the big picture stuff and the small things and bringing it all together. So we're going to start with the full page. And there's no columns here. So we have these different full width, sidebar, and two sidebar options. I don't need any sidebars here, so I'm just going to do a full width and start with that. So, okay. So let's start by adding in the header. This can be customized, so I'm not going to include search and turn that off. And then let's update the name of our agency. So let's just say Department of Orchard, because why not? All right. And now here's a good time to show there are a couple different ways to get your code. If you're on the docs page for the component, then each kind of demo variation here has the show code button, and you can copy that. For certain elements, the docs page doesn't include the actual live demos, just because it's not something that's designed for being put inside of a smaller frame like that. So we have it only showing on the individual story pages. That's what these are called. So Department of Orchard. And now here on the story page, you can go to the HTML tab and copy that. And let's go ahead and, oh no, this will go onto our page. Page is another one that we don't have the live demos on the docs page because that would just be a lot. So full width. All right, into the header region. We're going to replace all of that demo content with what I copied. All right, so we've got the header region. And now let's look at the footer. So here's my idea for what's going to be included in the footer. We have an element for this. And we can have two lists of links, or we can have just one list of links. I only have a couple of links called out here, so I think we just need the one list. And lots of possible information that we can include in here, but we're going to greatly reduce that. All right, so Wordmark, this is the Department of Orchard. Now, social media links. We have all of these different options. Let's say that we just have a Facebook and a LinkedIn. So I'm going to just remove everything else. I'll show you what this is doing here in a second. All right, so it's just Facebook and LinkedIn now. And that's all that we have here. Okay. And then I have a phone number and an email address. So phone, we can leave it titled call us. Let's change the phone number to, we'll call this the primary, just primary. And 404 123 4 5 6 7. All right. That's the first phone number. There was a second phone number in here as an option. We're not going to need that, so we can delete. And there's also, so you can see this is the phone number I just edited. There's also the option for a phone link to go in there. Not like a tall link, but a link to other related information. And we don't need that, so we'll delete that. And now it's just call us, primary phone number. And I also have an email, help@abc.ga.gov. Oh, almost got it here. .ga.gov. Don't need any extra links there. All right. And we can go ahead and get rid of all of these other items. All right, so let's cut the chat and the visit and the mailing address. And you know what, let's actually keep the hours. We're just going to update it so that it's only Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Let's say we're not open at all on the weekends. So now I'm just navigating through with my keys and delete all of that. So I just have Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right, Eastern time zone. Huh. All right, never mind. Yeah, we'll just delete that. Okay. So now we've got a much simpler footer. And I have an about link and a careers link. So that is going to be in this link list. So we currently have it called quick links. Let's go with about the department. And we'll just change the text here to about. Have this go to /about. And then the same thing here, careers /careers. I'll scroll up to make sure that these changes are working. Yes, they are. All right, and now I can get rid of the last couple of links because we don't need them. I'll just leave the standard accessibility and privacy and security notices. Those link off to sort of basic pages on Georgia.gov. And there we go, there we have our footer. I'll share that code. This is a bit longer, of course. And copy. Now, as long as you don't refresh your page, you should be able to navigate back and forth throughout the site without losing any of your customization. Of course, this can get a little bit risky if you're doing a ton of sort of custom work here. So as you're going, you might want to be copying your code and saving it somewhere that it's handy. But I went ahead and replaced that demo content in the footer. And now we have that in our footer region. All right, so now for the actual page content. So we need a title and we need form elements. That's really all there is to this page. Page title lockup. This is where we recommend you going for just any standard sort of page title. It could be the standard variation where it has just this accent line on top, or you can have a label on top. I don't think we need a label here, so I'll just go back to standard. We'll title this sign up, just like we have in our wireframe. We don't need a subtitle, so I can just delete that. And you can choose between large and standard. Let's go ahead with large on this. And we can copy this code. Now for this, so we have our page, right? But within this main content area, you can see we have it called main region. And then there are all these different sections inside of it. I would recommend, rather than trying to parse through the code that's in here and edit it within this page layout, instead, you can go to the section layouts. And here we have different options for how content can go on to your page. So 1 across, 2 across with a couple of different choices there, 3 across, or split background. And again, this is a very simple page layout. I'm just going to need 1 across. And so again, I have my page title copied. I will paste that in here. And I could do this in a separate section, or I could do it directly under my title within the same section. And so I'm just going to keep it in the same section and create a form. So we'll go up here to the form element. Now this here is the form as a whole. So this is the form wrapper. If we look at the code here, you can see we have our form tag, we have an element inside of it, and we have a submit button. Oh, didn't mean to copy that. So hide that code again so we can just take a look at what we're doing here. Let's see, so form elements is really what we need to adjust. I'll just make that a good bit bigger so it's easier to work with. All right, so right now you can see we have this input text field. That's everything that's in there right now. So I could just go in and I'm collecting the name. This is just a basic text field. And so let's just replace that label. So it says name. Okay, so that works. Now I want to add an email field. Let's go to the input element. These are all the different elements that we have available right now. Go to the input and we'll customize this. All right, label, let's change that to email. Type, this is going to be important for accessibility and you know, if you're on a mobile phone, it'll pull up the right keyboard for you, for a user. So let's switch that to the email type. Let's go ahead and make this required. And just leave the max length there. Width, you can choose between auto and full. Let's keep it at auto. And then the description, I don't think we need a description for this. It should be pretty straightforward. All right, so I've got my email field. show and copy that code. And I'll go back to the top page. Now, this top page here, this is the doc for everything, or for the form wrapper, I guess, on its own. Or I could go to the form story here. So since I'm in here, let's just work here. I still got my name field. And so then just directly after that, I will paste in my email field. And I've got one more to add, receive emails, yes or no. That would be radio buttons. And let's go ahead and customize this. Do you like to receive emails? Yes and no. We don't need this third option, we can delete that. And sure, let's include some description text. There we go. And yes, let's go ahead and make this required. Show and copy that code. Back to, let's go back to the story. Paste that in just right at the bottom. And there we go. And I'm gonna, just so you can see how that works, and hide and show that again. But this is our form. We've got a submit button. Forgot to actually include that in my wireframe here. So that's already included by default. Now let's go in and copy this HTML. And remember, we were working in the one across section. I still have my title there. And then inside of here, just paste in that form code. There we go. So that is my full section. I will copy all of that code. And this is going to get us all of the right spacing and keep it centered, all of those things that we need to make a really nice page. So really, when you're on the page and you're editing these main region controls, each one of these groups is basically one section. So you're just stacking sections on top of each other. I'll replace all of the content in that first section with what I copied from the other page. And there it is. Now we have all of these additional demo sections in there. I don't need any of those. I'll just go through and delete them. And we are missing some space here at the bottom. That's something that we can adjust once we pull it over onto our site. All right, so this page is looking pretty good. Go over to the HTML, copy that. Now let's go back into our code. And I'll just paste all of that content right there into the body. Got it nice and filled out. This also includes skip to main content link, important for accessibility. And let's save that. There we go. All right. One last thing here. I want to include the hat. So this here is not a standard component within the design system. This is actually going to pull code from GovHub itself. And the reason that we do that is because this includes the option for an alert, an emergency specifically. And so that might be if something really important is happening across the entire state and we want to post this emergency alert on all websites, then we can do that in one place. And even if you're looking at a website that is not on GovHub, it's still going to get that update. All right, so this one has some special instruction around it. Still pretty straightforward, but let's go ahead and copy this code. And we'll follow this instruction of using the header component, add it directly above the header opening tag. All right, so here is that header opening tag. I'll add it right there. And it does say foundation here. I know that we are not using the foundation color palette. We are using Simple Statehouse. So I will replace that and save. Oh, nope. All right. And there we have it. I know that there are a couple of issues with colors here. That's something that we're actively working on correcting. But you can see overall, it put together a page for us. Let's see. If I wanted to go in and adjust the bottom padding on this section, make sure we have some space there, I can do that. What if, let's do 2 across just so I don't mess anything up. I am deleting all of that content. So now I just have this empty section. What happens if I do that? There we go. Not the cleanest way to do it, but it works for now. So now I have this new code that I added. That just goes directly under div class, orchard layout section, wrapper. All right, so it just goes directly under my first section. This right here. Ah, here it is. It's that div. All right, so it's here we go. All right, so is that div. Let's go ahead and paste in that empty section. Save. Oh, obviously that is adding some messy markup. Aha. Didn't need to copy those in. There we go. All right. There you have it. And this is all responsive. See everything sizing down. It's accessible, except for the few things that we're of course still working on. And this gets you all of the styles to be in line with other Georgia agency websites.